Here we go. After what feels like forever for us to talk, we are back Tuesday morning, September 11th, which is crazy in its own right, just thinking about how long ago that's been. Jake, how old were you for that?
I was 6.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you don't have a I remember where I was type September
vaguely,
11th.
vaguely remember. I was going to school, I think.
Yeah,
I
I
just got
was
to-
I was very specifically in a stairwell in my high school. Um Walking up the steps, getting ready to go to my English class, and they were like, "Oh, plane hit the towers." I was just like, "Okay, I don't know what to do about that." And we got into my English teacher's room. We put the TV on, and we were watching it. And all of a sudden, that second plane hit, and it was just like, "Oh shit, this is going to be really crazy." I didn't know how to grasp that as a 16-year-old kid or whatever. Now,
No.
looking back at it, 17 years later, it's a much different perspective. Really, really crazy day. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about, even though it is incredibly sad and a
Good to
major
mention.
part of our culture. But we're going to talk about way more fun stuff, and that's DFS, because that's what we do every single day. I'm in a very good mood, save for the fact that a hurricane is bearing down on my home right now, because I got third in the Minimax last night. I'm gonna get that thing before the season is over. I'm coming for it, so I'm expecting a profitable September, because if I don't get that tournament this year, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I think it will be a profitable September too. I just like adding these guys from FanDuel and being able to have access to watch these shows, listening to Adam, plus doing my own research and getting a better research process, and Laffy too. It's just like these pitches that come up, I think we're going to be able to predict them better than maybe some casual people are able to.
Yeah, I would think that. And then all these guys I do a deep dive on and get confident in, they get blown up. Kluber pitches an inning. Giolito is terrible again. Just all these guys I did Glass now last week was just god awful. Everybody I do this deep dive in, it's like, oh, these are decent GPP plays, man. These guys are getting lit on fire.
It's so worth it though when you have the one, and no one's on them, or you don't think anybody's going to be on them, and you get it right because you did this deep dive, and it's just so satisfying. So
It's very true.
I've had a few of those this year, and hopefully some in September where you got a guy that's getting called up and you see something that maybe some other people don't. So it's just great when that happens.
It is great. So let's have a profitable day and let's dig into this. You ready?
Let's do it.
A's and Orioles, first game on the docket. It's a big one. A's 5.2 run implied total. Orioles 3.9. It's a 63% chance to win for the A's. Mike Fiers going for Oakland. Alex Cobb going for Baltimore. I'm a little surprised by this. I didn't really get much Fiers right now, and I'm interested to see what his ownership looks like. It's a really good spot. Orioles are not a great hitting team in general. 3.9 run implied total. Nothing special. The problem for Fiers for me is just he's 9,400, and that seems like way too much money for me to pay. If this were in Oakland, it might be a little bit different of a story. But I don't really have much interest in Fiers. Do you?
No, not really. He's just too expensive. On FanDuel, he's 7,600. You can kind of make a case for him there. I just put FanDuel pricing up. I don't know that I'm playing there today. So just on DK, if he was at home here, I would definitely consider him. But I think he really benefits from pitching in O.co. So I get that he's a huge favorite, and that probably has more to do with the bullpens than anything, because these are polar opposites. Oakland's bullpen has been fantastic. Baltimore's has been worse than the MLB. And that's something I need to remember more for next season. Started to weigh it more, because I think people get in trouble with Vegas lines. I see a starting pitcher that maybe he's only expected to go 4 or 5 innings, and they see them as a big favorite and want to play him. But it's usually the bullpen behind them. They're pitching half the game sometimes, or even more.
Yeah.
So that's why I would caution against Fiers being a huge favorite here. It's more than just him.
Completely agree. It's the collective. It's the Orioles aren't that great. Fiers is good. The A's bullpen really good, and A's offense incredibly solid. 108 weighted runs created plus against righties this season. Tough to battle. So I'm not going to have much fires. I'm almost assuredly not going to Alex Cobb. Is that any interest to you? I know you have some Cobb from time to time.
No Cobb for me, and I'm actually really liking the Oakland stack. So I think that the Yankees and Red Sox will be more popular. Just my first look through. We don't have ownership projections out yet, but Cobb is not missing bats. And there we go, as I'm saying that. So there's our ownership. But I think the A's are my number one stack right now. They're just crushing righties on the road this year. It's tough to hit in Oakland, as I mentioned. That's why I think fires benefits. The A's bats do not, obviously, hitting in that park. When they get on the road, 211 ISO, 327 on base percentage, number one in WRC plus against righties. So they're just a different team on the road. Their power is used more, and I'm going to be going to Olsen, Davis, Chapman, Lowry. Like those are the four main guys, but you got Liriano and Piscotty and Semyon, all solid righties too. So yeah, this sets up as probably my favorite stack right now.
Ownership projections are insane.
Are they wrong or?
Whoa. I mean, they're healthy. I don't think that they'll shake out the way they are. I think it's interesting to see 40% Jake DeGrom and 2% Chris Sale. That's not a...
Sale's going to be limited to only a couple innings, I think.
Is he really?
Yeah. I got a couple of comments on the night shift. I didn't see anything before I did it, but let's see.
Well, then that makes significantly more sense. The $7,000 price tag for Chris Sale on FanDuel, though, is pretty interesting. Only 26% owned on FanDuel. I mean, we're going to get to Sale, but even if he's limited to a couple innings, Chris Sale at $7,000 has a higher upside than Andrew Suarez at $6,500 or something. So,
sure.
But we will get there, and we will do a bigger dig into Sale. Sale 40 pitches max, says Mike Wilmoth.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, then that changes things.
You can't.
I didn't see it that limited, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to the Red Sox, I guess. Oakland, relatively chalky. They have 9% aggregate ownership. They are tied with the Yankees for the chalkiest stack on DK. I'm actually underweight here. I'm about half the field on Oakland on DraftKings, a little bit under on FanDuel. I like them. I get to decent amounts of Chapman and Davis and Olsen, but it's not a place that I'm going for terribly large amounts of volume.
Oh, I will be. Yeah, they're right now. If I had to make lineups, they are my highest exposed stack. And it could change if they start to get to be like the clear chalk. Then maybe I'll back off a little bit. But I'm planning on being well overweight on the 9% aggregate. So Cobb, Cobb has been better for sure. But if they get him out, they get to face all these bad Baltimore bullpen arms. Worst xFIP over the last 30 days for the Orioles bullpen. I don't know who exactly they're going to face. I haven't gone that deep into it just yet, but I know it's not going to be someone we're really scared of. It's not Josh Hader. So we're going to be fine. They're going to have the advantage all game. I think a lot of these guys have the advantage against Alex Cobb, if not all of them, maybe not Lucroy and Pinder, but there's just so much power here.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I would have thought that I would have got a little bit more. And that may change as I tweak my pitching exposures.
How much DeGrom did you end up with? Because it's going to be kind of tough to get to DeGrom with or Sale.
Well, I'm going to say it like this because it's going to change when I adjust Sale's innings projections down. I got 23% Sale and 3% DeGrom on my first one. So we can say that I'd be somewhere in the neighborhood of like 25% DeGrom when I account for that.
I wonder where your bats are then. It'd be interesting.
Well, they're on one team for sure that I know that I won't be at when we get there. And we can talk about that just from a construction standpoint. I know where I'm going to be going a little bit more on pitching. I mean, I'll just say the Giants are so cheap that they end up in a lot of my lineups.
Sure.
in a crunch because they end up making everything work. But I will manually push those guys down because at this point I'm like, 10 times the field on some of these guys, and it's just not a spot that I need to be in because I don't think the Giants are that great of a play.
Just as fillers, I understand it.
Yeah, they're so underpriced that they kind of break my crunch.
Fair enough.
Okay. Any Orioles bats for you?
I mean, maybe VR, but they're not a team that I want to look to on a 13-game slate.
I actually have quite a bit of Chris Davis on FanDuel because he's minimum salary.
That's fine. I mean, that's when you want to play him, right? Minimum salary and low ownership.
Yeah. So I will definitely have some exposure there. They're really cheap on FanDuel, so I've got a bit of Mullins and Mancini. I'm not super pumped about that, just because it's not like Fires is getting ownership. Yep. So I don't feel like I'm gaining much there. I'm not fond of it, but yeah, Chris Davis on FanDuel at minimum salary is a really nice play. I like the A's. I'm not over the moon for them. I'm probably like a step behind you for it. Definitely a great play, though. Blue Jays and Red Sox, here we are. Jays, 3.1 run implied total. Red Sox, 5.5. 74% chance to win for the Sox. Ryan Borucki going for Toronto. Chris Sale, the nominal starter. Nathan Eovaldi coming in after Sale. Wonder how long Eovaldi will go.
How expensive is he, too?
Good question. I didn't look, but I can give you that answer.
I mean, could he be someone we could play, possibly?
I think so. Well, he's 7,000 on FanDuel. He's 7,600 on DK. I mean, let's cross that bridge. I'm going to enter it right now. We'll see how he looks. So, how many innings do you think we would go for Eovaldi? 4.5? That seemed like a safe bet. At that point, you're probably in the 7th or 8th, and you could be going to the regular bullpen.
Right. Yeah.
If he's cruising, I think that he can be left in. But like, if it's just it's a 2-run game and he's at 75 pitches, they're probably just going to go to their relievers.
Yeah, I mean they have guys for 7 and 8 or 8 and 9, so they just have a good bullpen as well. So
right. So let's switch this from Chris Sale to Nathan Eovaldi. I'll be able to tell just sort of how he looks from the perfect pitcher calculations that I stole from Alex.
To be clear, you did not steal them. You made it based on his idea.
Yeah, I recreated them.
Yeah. People are going to think you're colluding, so I just wanted to protect you there.
Yeah. Let's see. Eovaldi at 7,600. I don't see him as particularly in play unless you think he's going to go a significantly larger amount of innings.
Yeah. I
mean, he doesn't grade out super well. Not at 7,600.
Yeah, if he's 5,600 here, I mean, sure, I would definitely have shares, but he's just not going to kill you.
Nope.
Not even starting. I mean, there's little to no chance he goes 6 innings here. So it's just.
Oh, by the way, guys that are normally listening to this, so Makad, T McBee, got to get this win. You guys hear me constantly. Sean V, welcome.
What's up, Sean V?
I got a microphone arm over the weekend, and I've hooked that up. So the mic I turned my gain down and moved the mic closer to my face. I was just curious if anybody thought that I sounded better or worse. Ignoring the actual quality of my voice, please. I know I sound bad at all times. My voice is terrible. Kevin Zoe, I didn't see you say anything before that. I didn't know you were here.
You sound fine to me. I don't know.
I mean, I figured I would. I just was kind of curious if I sounded any clearer.
Maybe. Now you mention it.
Yeah. Sorry, Kevin Zoe. Okay. So I have Eovaldi in now. That doesn't really change anything. It does sort of make the Blue Jays interesting. They have, 7 righties in the lineup right now. Makes Eovaldi slightly more interesting. But let's talk Red Sox bats because I think they're the clear best stack of the day. What do you think?
Yeah,
you're not playing Borucki, right? Like, we don't have anything to talk about from a pitching perspective.
No. Yeah, I wrote up the Red Sox and spotlight hitters, pitcher stacks. I just decided to combine those because I'm going to be writing those every day. It's just a quick rundown. It's not a super deep dive. you get a super deep dive on the entire slate in the deep dive, which Adam and Lofty do. So this is just kind of where I'm at in the morning, and I wrote up the Red Sox. Of course, they're just so good, man. And Steve Pearce is in here as well.
Yeah.
So you've got Betts, JD, Bogarts, add in Pearson, Kinsler, and this team is just now all of a sudden super deep against lefties. I mean, if you can afford them, there's no reason to fade them outside of if their ownership gets out of hand, but it looks in hand right now. So Barucki, a guy that's not really going to miss bats. He struggles against righties, 334 WOBA, 153 whip, to name a couple numbers. But yeah, I just love the Red Sox.
Yeah, they're my number one stack on both sites. I'm over the field on both, and I'm even happier that they're chalky, clearly, but they're not the chalk, which makes me happy. Lots of Betts, lots of JD. I mean, Pierce, obvious. I get Nunez, I get Sandy Leon on DK, and that makes me sort of nauseous. But look, 5.5 run implied total, highest on the slate. Kind of hard to avoid. At some point in time, I'm going to expect the Red Sox to hit lefties just like they should, instead of just average.
I mean, they've improved. So they started out like awful first couple months, and now they're back to being above average. So they made strides for sure.
Anybody on the Blue Jays side that gives you any interest?
No. I'm good on the Blue Jays.
I would agree. I don't have any single share of anyone there.
That's where I'm going to end up too, I think.
I mean, if you want to get weird and have like a one-off Gurriel if he leads off,
right? Sure,
but he's also projected for 10% ownership, so maybe not that interesting. Look, just play the Red Sox. Don't play Chris Sale. I'm comfortable saying this now after seeing more information. Don't fall into the trap of playing him on FanDuel either.
Yeah, I can't play anyone for 2 innings.
No, FanDuel $7,000 price point for Sale, just not worth it. Moving on. God, I've missed doing this. Take like 2 days off, and all of a sudden you feel like you've never talked about baseball. Indians and Rays. Indians 4.1 run implied total. Rays 3.9. It's a 51% chance to win for the Indians. Shane Bieber going for Cleveland. Tyler Glasnow going for the Rays. I get a lot of Bieber. He's projected to be 23% owned, and I'm similar in exposure there, but that's not a direction I really want to go. I'm much more likely to spend an extra $300 and be significantly over the unowned portion of the field for Tyler Glasnow. What do you think about pitching here?
Yeah, I mean, some interest in Glasnow. He's a guy I want to see how owned he is. He's coming off his first disaster start since this stint in the majors, and he's going to have those. Every pitcher's going to have those. His are just a little bit more pronounced, I guess you could say. So I have no issue. He's already had success against the Indians, and you're just worried about Lindor and Ramirez and Brantley. There's really good stolen base upside for those guys if they can get on against Glasnow. We said this last time against him. So I actually like those three as a mini stack. If you're running 4-3-1s or 5-3s or whatever, I think they make for a really fun stack. They can get there without hitting extra base hits. That's how bad that holding runners Glasnow is.
Yeah.
And then Bieber, I like lefty power against him. Do we have ownership out on him?
Bieber?
Yeah.
23.
23.
Yeah. Which is, I don't want to have that much.
Yeah.
I get to that. Like, I understand why he's getting there on the surface. I don't want to be with chalk Shane Bieber today. He's the third highest owned pitcher of the slate. I think that's probably a bit of a reach.
I would agree with that.
Although, if I said name his last 5 performances and how he did, would you even know that off the top of your head? Like, he's a guy that he could be putting up 25 a day, and I don't think that I would notice.
I think I would notice if he's putting up 25. I I know run prevention's an issue for him. I just know it is. Even when he's getting strikeouts, he's allowing 3 and 4 runs.
Here's the key takeaway. I'm going to go every start since the beginning of August. We'll start in August. 22, sure. 28, 8, 19, 18, 6, 19. So that 28 start is a biggie. If he puts up 19 at 8,400, that's not going to kill you. So I don't want to be with Chalk Bieber here. There's a very specific set of circumstances that have to happen for you to regret not having him. He's a guy that I don't even need to have, especially if he's owned at 20%.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'd much rather take the more talented pitcher in Glasnow. Glasnow's got nuclear upside.
Yeah.
Even against Cleveland. Donaldson's going to be in this lineup. So that makes it a little tougher, but he does strike out against righties. It's like this bottom of the lineup isn't that great once you get past Donaldson. And Glasnow is just, when he's on, he's one of those guys that's pretty much unhittable. His stuff is that good. So at very little ownership, I'll take some Glasnow.
And I will not have Shane Bieber tonight.
Yeah. Are you making more aggressive fades now that you've talked to Adam?
I am.
And Laffy? Because it seems that way. I like it. I like the aggressive fades. I think you got to.
Well, it's all within reason. Like, Bieber is not a GPP guy, first and foremost. He's priced at 8,400, which is insane for him, and he's chalk. He is the chances of him putting up a score that makes 23% of those people that are playing Bieber like really crush me are not the same as like if Glasnow K's 11.
Yeah, and maybe it'll be lower than 23 just because people saw what Tampa did to Kluber yesterday. So they're maybe not looking to target Tampa.
Right. Like if he falls from that spot, I'm more likely to have Bieber. But at 23, I don't want a single share.
Right.
I don't see any benefit.
If I think he's going to be 20 plus, that's an easy 0 for me too.
Yeah. And I want to have, if Glasnow stands at like 1 or 2%, and I don't expect that to climb much. I mean, going into the Indians after that last start, I'll probably have 10 to 15% Glasnow.
Yeah, love it. That's exactly the numbers I was thinking of.
Damn. Oh, man, we used to just disagree all the time now. Where you at, Grace? We're on the same side.
Where's Grace? She hasn't popped in a while.
Hiding. Indians bats. I'll never have a problem with anybody grabbing Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, Encarnacion, and now Josh Donaldson. Or Yonder Alonso for that matter. But this is not a great spot. 4.1 run implied total for the Indians. That's a lot of respect for Glasnow and the Rays.
Yeah, that absolutely is.
Will you have a lot of Indians?
I mean, they just naturally come up in fillers against righties, no matter how good they are, really. And they're like Jose Ramirez is underpriced. I think that's a fair statement. He's got stolen base upside, and he's 5,100. So he's the guy I most want, and he'll be in a bunch of my one-offs. So I'm probably going to be over the field on those top 3 bats, and then under on everyone else. Like I probably won't have many full stacks against Glasnow.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to want at least 1 or 2 full stacks against Glasnow in case he pulls the Blue Jays from last week.
Yeah.
Homie didn't do well.
No, he did not.
Wow, I am miles under the weighted average price for pitching today.
It's good. Be different.
Yeah. I don't have much to talk about in this game though, outside of pitching. It's fade Bieber for me at that ownership, and play more Tyler Glasnow because he is he's volatile, and that's what I'm looking for in a GPP.
For sure.
Through the Marlins we go. Marlins 3.2 run implied total. Mets 4.8. It's a 68% chance to win for the Mets. Jose Urena going for Miami. Jake DeGrom going for New York. DeGrom projected 40% ownership on DraftKings. Even in my recrunch, I only got 13. I'm not even really going to like Fulte or anything. yesterday bit me. I loaded up, as much as it could possibly bite me. I caught a lineup that worked, but I had an overwhelming amount of Kluber, somewhere in the 55 to 60% range. Just did not see that coming.
Yep.
I feel like today is a similar day where DeGrom stands alone at the top of a pitching heap, and I'm not confident that I want to get there. Are you going to be? What do you think about that 40% ownership? How do you want to handle DeGrom today?
I think it just makes sense to go under the field just so you're, 75% of your lineups are different than, most people. I don't know. I mean, I love bats tonight. I love the Red Sox, Yankees, and A's, and those guys are all expensive. And there's not really a punt. There's not really a mega punt besides Marco Gonzalez, which is who everyone's going to pair with DeGrom when they're trying to get bats as well. So you're just going to be holding hands with a lot of people. And I'd rather not do that in September. I'd rather not do that on any slate, but especially when I love all these expensive bats.
For sure. And it's not a great matchup. I mean, Miami is not good, but they're not like a huge strikeout team, at least this projected lineup. Ortega doesn't K. Starlin Castro doesn't K all that much. Real Muto doesn't K all that much. Miguel Rojas doesn't K. Austin Dean doesn't really K. I mean, you're really only looking at Brinson and Derek Dietrich as guys that have like major K rates.
Yeah, I mean, DeGrom's been really good against the Marlins, and even if he is really good tonight, I don't know that he really kills you unless he goes complete game shutout or gets 12 strikeouts or does something crazy. If he just does what he's done against the Marlins, which is like 6-7 innings with 7 or 8 Ks, I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. But
you're not dead in the water with that.
Yeah, you're not dead. And for a 13-5 pitcher to kill you, they have to get 40 plus, I think.
At the very least, somewhere north of 30 to make you at least feel the sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I expect to be significantly underweight on DeGrom. He's only going to get probably pitched to Jose Urena once, so it's not like he's got all these like. If he pitches to Urena twice, things are probably going pretty well for the Marlins.
For sure.
So, yeah, I don't see me getting much up in the area of 40%. I'd say probably 20 will be the area that I'm in. On FanDuel, it's a little bit different. I've got 22%. We're projecting 29. Single pitcher site, you're in a very different stratosphere. I will have some Jake DeGrom there.
Oh, yeah. Like on FanDuel, I would have a bunch of DeGrom. On DK, I just think that there are, like, I want to live in this mid-tier. There's no Pivetta on this slate now that I'm realizing that. They're not counting the Nats-Phillies game on DK. So that makes it a little bit tougher.
Wait, what?
They're not counting that game, it looks like.
The early one?
Pavetta's not even listed in the starting pitchers. And so it's in just click on a DK contest and you can show everyone. There's an error message that comes up top. Postpone game alert. Players from the Nats-Phillies game will not receive fantasy points. Please check your lineups.
Then why do they have it in there?
I don't know. They probably made the call earlier today or last night because of the canceled game. And it's not a day-night doubleheader. It's a back-to-back doubleheader, it looks like.
I thought the other game was at 3 o'clock or something.
It is.
And isn't the Nats game at 10?
No. 7:05 Eastern.
What the fuck have I been looking at this morning?
Yeah, so that kind of sucks. I wanted to play Pivetta, but
I have a bunch of Pivetta, so I'm gonna have to re-crunch here.
Unless I'm just reading this wrong, because I don't even see, like, I see Arrieta and Fede in the starting pitchers on DK when you just click on the P tab.
So we are saying that Game 2 Roark Pivetta is not included in the DK slate.
Unless I am just completely off. You know, he's read it out. Pavetta's read it out, even when you.
Interesting.
That
like,
sucks.
They're just simply not included in FanDuel. That's what threw me off.
So, yeah, FanDuel. So DK comes out with their slate way earlier than FanDuel does. So FanDuel must have seen the delay or the postponement and just said, "Yeah, we're not."
I was reading that message as in, like, don't get guys that are playing at 3:00, not don't get guys in general.
Yeah, I think it's don't get guys at all.
Okay, well, fuck then. I'll recrunch that shit again.
Yeah, so make sure you're Xing these guys out if you're using Fantasy Cruncher or an optimizer.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want these guys. I'll make sure that I skip out on that stuff and cancel out that game. Actually, let's just get that shit out of here first so I don't forget. No Nats and Phillies. Done. Alrighty. Well.
Yeah. So I wrote up Pavetta, but I'm just going to delete him from the article.
Yeah.
Just cross it out.
Yeah, you probably don't want to play him. Although, I don't know. Maybe a 0 will work for you today. Stranger things have happened. Okay, so we've gone over our thoughts on DeGrom. Do you like Mets bats here? 4.8 run implied total. That's pretty healthy for the Mets.
Yeah, I like Conforto against Urena. It's lefty power against him. Nimmo if he was cheaper, but it's just, man, 5,100 on a slate where you can get pretty much every A besides Chris Davis and like Red Sox and all these other teams. I just can't justify paying 5,100 for Nimmo. So it's probably just going to be Conforto for me.
I like Jay Bruce, 3,800. I think that's a nice price point if he's hitting fourth. I have a lot of Jay Bruce on FanDuel, 23% in fact. He's only 2,500. So I think he's a guy that I'll get quite a bit as a one-off. Not that I'm like super proud of that, but just a good price.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll take a chance on a Jay Bruce homer here.
Yeah.
No Marlins, I assume?
No. Do you have any Urena?
No. Well, I mean, I got 3, but I won't get 3.
Yeah, he's going to be someone I leave in the player pool. I don't plan on having much of him. I may not have any of him, but he's not someone I'm just writing off because it is the Mets. There are a few righties in here. He's been decent lately. So
yeah, I don't mind if he comes up, but so long as he doesn't have a number that is outlandish, I probably won't even notice if I have him or not. Yeah. He'll just kind of be. Okay, so I pulled that Pavetta Roark exposure now. So, man, I gave the thumbs up to Glass now and still didn't even get any. Whew. It's quite a lot of Antonio Senzatella, however.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. To the Brewers we go. Brewers and Cubs. Brewers 4-run implied total. Cubs 4.5. It's a 56% chance to win for the Cubs. Julius Chassin going for Milwaukee. Jose Quintana going for Chicago. I like Quintana here. I'm afraid for sure of some of the bats in the Brewers lineup. Weather in Chicago will matter. Do you know if a line came out on this? Because I'm pretty sure this is one of the few that didn't have one when I did this. It is 8.5. That's what I have it in as. So yay me. I'm gonna have to change a couple of these because I certainly don't have 9.5 in that Yankees Twins game. Anyway, I had it in at 8.5, and that's what it nailed. So I'm a genius. You like Quintana here?
No, I never liked Quintana.
I know, that's oh, by the way, you and Adam need to have like a 15-minute discussion about how much you both hate John Lester.
I think he's on the hate Quintana train too.
Probably.
Just guys that he's good against lefties. Okay, that's fine. I concede that he's not. I don't want to target a bunch of lefties against him. Yelich, it doesn't really matter who he's facing for me at this point. He's just proved he can hit either side incredibly well. I think just Quintana, I don't like guys that I think get away with a lot of hard contact. And Quintana is one of those guys. So just 16% soft contact, a bunch of line drives, and he's just generally overrated. So he doesn't really strike out righties that well, under 20% for the season. Oh, it's been since last year that I just think he's getting really lucky. So I don't want to play a guy that I think is getting really lucky. And especially not against Braun, Aguilar, Kane, Scope. Yeah, just No way.
So you will not be double the field like I will be.
No.
Okay.
No, I hope Quintana's chalk, honestly.
Right now, what is he? 9%. I would much rather have more Quintana than Bieber at 23, though.
I mean, yeah, if those guys stay where they're at right now in our ownership projections, then I'm off both of them.
Okay. I will have some Quintana. I won't be super proud of it, but I will have some Quintana. Will you have any Chacin?
Probably not. Cubs lineup just looks way too good.
Yes, it does.
Chacin's not a guy I'm crazy about at this price either. I mean, if a righty heavy lineup comes along and he's this price, then okay, I'll consider him. But you got Rizzo and Zobrist, Daniel Murphy leading off is a big boost. I like bats on both sides here.
Bats on bats on bats. I agree. 3% expected aggregate ownership to the Cubs on DK, 4 on FanDuel. I am miles above that. I have more than 3 times the field on DraftKings. Tons of Daniel Murphy, tons of Baez, tons of Rizzo, tons of Chris Bryant. Can't imagine not wanting to have Daniel Murphy at 2% ownership today, unless the wind is blowing, unless this hurricane wind is coming in from center field in Wrigley.
I don't think it is.
No. But, yeah, well, I mean, you'd be with me there, right? Many multiples over a 3% aggregate on the Cubs?
Yep, I'll be there as well. Mentally, it's tough to stack up against Milwaukee right now. And there's a few bullpens like that. So, but I still like Chris Bryant for 4,300.
Yeah.
I like that. I like so many plays individually where I'm going to kick myself if I don't have at least a couple stacks of the Cubs, especially when they're so low owned and there's lefty power in here. There's Chris Bryant cheap. There's Javi that's cheap and not cheap. He's dual position eligibility. So it's pretty easy to stack up.
I am getting so many Red Sox. It's insane. Something's breaking there. How am I getting that many Red Sox? Do I not have the stacks in correctly? Nope, don't have stacks in at all. That explains a ton. Thanks, FanDuel. Thanks. I was like, I'm getting 21% aggregate Red Sox. That is blowing through my caps.
Right. Very contrarian, no stack.
Yeah, that'll. I'm sure it'd be the day that I win. Then I can't even justify it.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no the math didn't add up there. It's one of those mornings where I've huffed a lot of gas fumes. I had to fill the generator, spilled gas everywhere, then took gas cans and put them in my car and drove to the gas station to fill them up. So, I might just be crazy today.
Yeah.
Brewers bats, I know you love them. Ryan Braun, I love a ton on FanDuel, 3,200. He was my home run pick yesterday, so boo Ryan Braun. I don't get a ton of Brewers on DraftKings, though.
I will have Brewers on DraftKings, and the Cubs bullpen is actually one that I kind of want to attack a lot more than the Brewers. So if they get Quintana out early, they're going to have an easier road. XFIP over the last 30 days, the Cubs have the 5th worst, near 5. 156 whip, that's near the top or bottom as well. Baltimore leading in both of those categories. So just jamming home my A's love once again. But yeah, I do have some interest in the Brewers for sure. Braun, Aguilar, and Kane especially.
Yeah, my problem is simply that they're a really hard team to stack because of Kane, Yelich, and Braun all being outfielders at the top and relatively expensive. Yep. I would love if they could just sort of get Scope higher in the lineup and make that second base spot. If they could flip Scope and Kane, I would love to have. Not that I think Scope's like a leadoff hitter or anything. I just mean from a structure standpoint, I'd love to be able to get more plate appearances at spots that aren't outfielders.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm absolutely fine having guys like Aguilar and Braun, especially if they're low owned. Kane. Yep. Okay. Pound the Cubbies. To the Yanks we go. Yanks 4.5 run implied total. This isn't right. 4.5, 3.5. That's 8. It's actually 9.5, right?
Yep.
Yeah, crazy. I underestimated this one big time. This will change the outlook a bit on the Yankees. Oh, who do you have starting for the Twins? You have Duffy?
Tyler. Yeah.
Okay. Cole Stewart was listed on FanGraphs, so didn't know if that was updated. 5.3 run implied total for the Yanks. 4.2 for the Twins. The 62% chance to win for the Yanks. Sonny Gray going for New York. Tyler Duffy going for Minnesota. No thank you on Duffy, but what do you think about Sonny Gray here, 7,800 against the Twins?
I mean, I will have more Sonny Gray than I originally thought. He's not fully stretched out, though. Hasn't gone 90-plus pitches since end of July, since he went to the bullpen. He's made one start, super efficient against Baltimore. Went 6 1/3. That is Baltimore, though, so you can pump the brakes a little bit on August 25th. And he's going to get a bunch of lefties here. He pitches better on the road. Just really struggles in Yankee Stadium, probably because everyone's booing him all the time. So, yeah, he's fine. He's just someone I'm going to have to pivot some of my Pivetta exposure to. I don't think he's a great play here, but just how the slate is kind of setting up with one of my favorite pitchers now being off of it, looks like I will have to pivot some exposure to Sonny Gray.
Yeah, I'll have a little bit of Gray. No reason not to. I'm not super worried about the Twins. And I'm going to be eating a bunch of that Yankees chalk for the second day in a row. Happily taking them here. 5.3 run implied total. Looks like third highest on the slate. Give me tons of Kutch. Give me tons of Stanton. Give me tons of Gary Sanchez. I know you're going to say give me tons of Aaron Hicks. Are you going to be on the Yanks tonight compared to yesterday?
Twins bullpen game. It's just, I'm going to be on the Yankees. I don't think I'll be fully fading any of my top three stacks tonight. Oakland, Red Sox, or the Yankees, but I think I'm more likely to be underweight on the Yankees than the other two. So this is my third favorite spot.
Okay.
But it's going to have a ton of ownership, and I can't just play all three of the chalk stacks.
Sure.
As much as I would like to, because you only have 100% exposure, right? So they're probably going to be the lowest owned of the three that I wrote up for me. But it's a great spot. I mean, these guys aren't even priced that high. Stanton's $5K, and then everyone else under that. So it's going to be pretty easy to fit them in if you're not going to DeGrom.
Absolutely. I know that I'm the Logan Forsythe truther. 13% expected ownership on DraftKings. I only have one. I feel like I'm letting him down somehow. I'm sorry, Logan. I just can't do it today.
They keep pricing him down.
2,800 on DraftKings. God. I think I'm the only one left on that island.
Yeah, I think you might be.
Yeah, I'm going to need to build a raft and find a volleyball pretty soon. Pirates and White Sox. Nope, Pirates and Cardinals. White Sox were the next name under the list. 3.6 run implied total for the Pirates, 4.3 for the Cardinals, 58% chance to win for the Cards. Joe Musgrove going for Pittsburgh, Miles Michaelis going for St. Louis. I'm getting quite a bit more of Michaelis now. We're projecting 9% ownership. I've got 20. 7,600 I think is a really nice price. I'm not so sure I want to go too crazy on Michaelis just because I think his strikeout upside is limited. But I think he's a really safe play today. What do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. Safe play, I think, is a good way to put it. He's a decent favorite. He's at home. He's going against a team that really has lost their power against righties recently. So over the last month, an 80 WRC plus that is tied for second worst against righties. 115 ISO, just on base percentage just over 300. They're not striking out a ton, but Michaelis doesn't really strike guys out either a ton. So you're looking for the 6 or 7 innings with a few strikeouts. And I think that's a pretty safe bet tonight. So I hope his ownership doesn't rise, but if it's at 9%, I'm going to have 3 to 4 times that, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, with no Pivetta, there's not really anyone that I'm worried about, like just going out and destroying in this range. So, Glass now maybe if you want to count him in this range, but
Yeah, I'm just mostly avoiding this range. Like I'm gonna have some Michaelis if he stays at 9. If that rises, I'll give it a little bit more pause. But I'm just either dumpster diving for pitching or I'm on. I don't know. Pitching sucks today.
Yeah, that's fair. That's why I think Michaelis can get you 18 to 20 here, and it's not going to win you anything. But now you're kind of just looking for pitchers that aren't going to kill you on the slate or aren't super overpriced like Musgrove on the other side.
Yeah, that's a good point. You recrunch this DraftKings stuff since we're here. Bats here. Oh well. Do you have any exposure to Musgrove? I just don't think he's really feasible at 9,100.
I think just a little bit overpriced. There are a lot of righties in here, so it wouldn't shock me if he has a good real life start. But Cardinals, for having a lot of righties, they don't really strike out against right-handed pitching all that much. So yeah, I'm not really on them. I'm not on the Cardinals. I'm not on Musgrove. Besides Matt Carpenter, I like him as a one-off.
Yeah, no ownership for me here from hitters. This game is mostly a stay away outside of Michaelis. White Sox and Royals. What an ugly, ugly series. 4-run implied total for the Whites. No, is this right? I feel like this is a made-up line on my end too.
4.2.
It's a 9 total. I had it in at 8.5. This one wasn't out either when I woke up. Not a huge change here. We'll probably nerf a little bit of my Keller, but anyway, 4.3 run implied total for the White Sox, 4.7 for the Royals. It's a 55% chance to win for the Royals. Dylan Covey going for Chicago. Brad Keller going for Kansas City. I love Keller in this spot, 5,700. He is chalk, however, 22% expected ownership. I have that exact match on DraftKings, but he's just been really good. So Keller, I'm going to go all the way back to July 22nd because that seems to be a pretty nice line in the sand. 26, 23, 7, 22, 19, 13, 22, 16. This guy's $5,700. Basically every single performance that he had, you'd be fine with. You don't want 7.5, but even that's not going to murder you. Everything else after that, I'm fine with. If he gets 13, okay. I don't mind having that exposure. He's in a really good spot. White Sox strike out a ton. What do you think of Brad Keller?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. Going up against an undisciplined team, and he's at home. He's a favorite. Not the greatest pitching weather, wind blowing out, and it's almost 80 degrees in KC. But his chase rate is just spiked his last 4 starts. So the first one of the 4 was against the White Sox, 40%. Next one against Cleveland, 44.8%. Okay, that was when he was at home. Cleveland's worse on the road. But then he went into Cleveland his last start, 44.4% again. He's getting more swinging strikes, a few more. And yeah, I mean, if you can get chases against this White Sox team, at the very least, you're going to get them to create bad contact. And that's perfectly fine for 5,700. You don't need him to go out and strike out 7 guys. I think he's got a good chance to go pretty deep here.
I agree. I think it's a really, really nice spot. I can't imagine not wanting to have a bunch of him. I don't have too much issue with the chalk. He's not a guy that I'm going to go like 50% on because he could turn into a pumpkin and that wouldn't really shock me.
Right.
But it's just, I mean, it's as good of a matchup as you're going to find. What do you think about Dylan Covey, though? Because we're not projecting any ownership to him, but I get a little bit.
He just does not miss any bats at all. Swinging strike rate under 7. A chase rate just above 25% for the season. I want to attack Covey with some KC bats, like Merrifield and Salvador Perez if they're in, especially. But like O'Hearn, Chris's boy, and Adalberto Mondesi as well. He's 4,700, but dual position eligibility. He grades out really well from the stuff that I look at.
Yeah, I can't get to Mondesi at that price, but I get it.
I mean, so the problem with Mondesi is he strikes out like 30% of the time, but Covey just can't miss any bats. So it's a good chance he's putting the ball in play every time he's up.
hop back over to this here. I have some ownership to the White Sox bats. I'm just basically with the field on both sites. And Royals are 5% aggregate on both DK and FanDuel. I only have one. I'm not really happy about that, but I'm really just not looking to bats with all that much gusto here. I would have expected that I would, particularly against Covey, but I don't really like this Royals team. They're really not a good team at all. They've been bad. They project to be bad. I just can't get there.
Oh, yeah, they're not a good team, but that's fine. I don't think Covey's a good pitcher. Are you going to have White Sox stacks to hedge against Keller?
Just a little bit. Nothing overwhelming.
I think I will too. Moncada and Polka and Delmonico. They're really cheap.
Avisel Garcia, 2,500 on FanDuel. He would probably be my favorite play of this day for the White Sox, not just overall. That would be crazy. Cool. Moving on. Rangers. Nope. Diamondbacks. God, I'm just not with it today.
Wait, Josh, hold up.
Hold up.
Over the last month, KC against righties, 121 WRC plus, 226 ISO, 325 on base percentage. What is that?
What's their BABIP?
319.
Yeah, that's not too crazy.
No, that ranks 6th.
What's their home run per fly ball?
I don't know if I can do that.
Should be on the advanced tab, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, I'm on the splits leaderboard though. I've got the righty split in there, so I don't know if I can do that. Let's see. Their hard contact is 4th.
You did last 30 days against righties, right?
Their line drive rate is 2nd. What's going on?
Let me take a look. Batted advanced. Oh, it's not there.
Oh, home run to fly ball. Here we go.
Yeah, I got it here.
2%. That is 3rd.
Okay. That's probably a little unsustainable.
Agreed. And, we don't expect, but they have been good.
No, they have. They absolutely have. Look, I was just trying to poke holes in it. They've been raking, and it's not entirely luck-based.
Yeah. Shout out to got to get this win.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Get that win. Got to make that paper. This is going to be my new account. Hope I'm not stepping on any trademarks there. Let me dump this most recent DK crunch in. I tried to prioritize a couple more guys.
Sure.
I've done like 10 crunches since I've been on this show.
Do you guys use all stacks when you do your crunches? I do not. I leave everyone in usually for the mini stack. Like if I'm doing 5-2-1s, I'll leave everyone in for the 2. But no, I don't leave everyone in.
I do. I do indeed. It'll usually come out in the wash. Teams that I don't really want there just generally won't be there. Or I'll limit their exposure. If they're like the Giants today will be a really good example of a team that pops up a lot for me that I'll manually adjust individual exposures so I don't get a ton. But I'm going to trust that I should have some because of some sort of like statistical efficiency that I can't see. Okay, so Diamondbacks and Rockies. Diamondbacks 5.4 run implied total. Rockies 5.1. It's a 53% chance to win for the D-backs. Zach Greinke going for Arizona. Antonio Senzatella going for Colorado. If there's a pitcher in this game that you have to take, is it Greinke or Senzatella?
Oh, Greinke.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I assumed. I don't have much Greinke. 3%. We're projecting 7. I do, however, have quite a bit of Senzatella. 16%, in fact. $4,800 today. I'll roll those dice.
I don't think I will. I'd rather play Marco Gonzalez or Keller. I think I'll be able to get there, get that extra few $100s of salary for both guys. So no Senzatella for me. He's another one. You just cannot miss any bats at all. 7% swinging strike rate. A bunch of hard contact near 40%. xFIP isn't anything special either. So I love the Diamondbacks here. Again, sticking with the theme of the really expensive bats. So I'm going to be lower than the field on DeGrom. My favorites are Peralta, Goldschmidt, and Pollock, but I'll try to get some Descalso. Definitely have some Souza in there for 4,600.
Yeah, it's not as if I'm... and if Senzatella is 0% owned, I won't have 16. I'll have like 8 to 10, just because of the price and prioritizing hitting. But I do love both sides of this game from a hitting perspective. Diamondbacks, my number 4 stack on FanDuel, my number 3 on DK. Only 5% aggregate, so I'm more than double the field on both. Lots of Pollock, Escobar, Goldschmidt, Descalso, Steven Souza. Love this spot. Jeff Mathis is so bad, but I'll take my chances at 2,700 as long as he's part of a 5-man stack. And similarly for the Rockies, number 8 stack for me on FanDuel, number 4 on DK. I'm over the field on both. Shouldn't be too shocking who we like here. Blackman, Gonzalez, everybody, really. Noted Grand Slam hitter David Dahl. Thanks for that, David Dahl. Thanks for that push in the Minimax. Yeah, look, it'd be hard to not want to be on some bats here. I'm surprised the Diamondbacks aren't chalkier.
Yeah, I mean, I love the D-backs here. I'm not really crazy about Colorado, though. Greinke, as we know, is a good pitcher. You prefer him at home, but at low ownership and just looking for guys in this range to play that aren't named Quintana, Chassin, Musgrove, Sonny Gray. We know Greinke's good still, and he's had some success in Coors. So Colorado also is really bad against righties at home, WRC plus of 83 for the season. So their stats are inflated, like their ISO looks good and all that, but that's just a product of Coors Field. That's before you take in park factors. So they do still strike out at home, 21.6% in a park that does suppress strikeouts. So I'm on Greinke and going to be lower than the field on Colorado bats.
Greinke, just interesting price point, 8,000. I think I'd rather have Quintana. I think I'd rather have Sonny Gray. I just don't want to take the chances in Coors. It feels like an unnecessary risk. How's Greinke been lately?
Yeah, honestly, no pitcher in Coors has ever smashed.
Greinke's last, we'll say since August, 16, 17, 13, 17, 26, 15, 6. I mean, none of those starts bother me except for the 26. And if he puts up 26, I don't think you're dead in the water. So I don't see enough upside for Greinke here.
That's fine.
Team Rockies. Rangers and Angels. Rangers 4-run implied total. Angels 5. 61% chance to win for the Angels. Adrian Sampson going for Texas because that's a person I know. Jim Johnson going for the Angels. That's a person I know as a reliever. So you're certainly not playing Jim Johnson. Do we know anything about Adrian Sampson?
He's not stretched out. So bullpen game for both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't playing him one way or the other. He doesn't even project to be anything decent. I'm just making sure I wasn't missing anything. Yeah, you're not playing pitching in this game whatsoever. Are you playing hitting, though? I don't have this nearly as much as I would have expected.
I mean, if it was in Texas, yeah, I'd stack it up. But, like, I like Trout, Ohtani, super hot takes there, I know, and Jose Miguel Fernandez. So I will have some Angels, but I just hate stacking against these bullpen games, even when they're terrible. Like when each guy is going like an inning or two, it's just really annoying. They can, like, if there's a bunch of righties coming up, they can throw in a righty. You just don't know if guys will get pitch hit for or what. So I don't know. I'm kind of avoiding this one, hoping it stays somewhat quiet besides a few Angels.
I like Cole Calhoun. I obviously like Mike Trout. Lots of J up on DK. He has the same price on FanDuel as he does on DK. So very good bargain on DraftKings, not so much on FanDuel. I will have quite a bit of Jose Miguel Fernandez if he's in the lineup. I want to be on the Angels side, but I'm not going too crazy. And I basically don't have any Rangers.
That's kind of where I'm at too.
Yeah, weird game. Very weird game. I don't have any hot takes for this one. It's just kind of there. I thought like this might have been a hot take coming into it, but ownership is telling me significantly different. Padres and Mariners. Padres 3.4 run implied total. Mariners 4.7. It's a 65% chance to win for the Mariners. Brian Mitchell going for San Diego. Marco Gonzalez going for Seattle. I got my ownership cap on Gonzalez when I ran my first crunch today and thought, holy shit, that's a lot of Marco Gonzalez. And yet, it wasn't even remotely close to his projected ownership. Marco Gonzalez coming in at a crisp 53% expected ownership. Jake, how do you manage Marco Gonzalez's ownership today?
Well, we don't have clarity about how long he's going to go.
That is a true statement.
He hasn't pitched at all, it looks like, since
August 22nd.
Yeah. And he hasn't thrown a full start since the 13th. So basically a month where he hasn't thrown 90-plus pitches. That's worrisome.
He threw a 35-pitch bullpen session on Friday.
All right, today's Tuesday. That's 4 days. He's not going long. There's no way.
Yeah, I think he needs to be nerfed incredibly high amounts of, like, you can't go there, can you?
I mean, how many pitches do we think he's throwing? 60? Maybe?
If I said 4 innings, would that seem like a lofty expectation now?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, we're on the same page.
35 pitches, you have to be ultra efficient to get through. I mean, let's say you can get to 50 or 55 even. That's one slip up and you're dead.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm starting to think that I'm not going to be. Well, I'm certainly not going to be with the 53%. I'm thinking I'll probably have more like 10.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll have any. I'd like there to be uncertainty here, honestly, so I could just fade that. Last night on the night shift, I liked it, but it's against San Diego. It's a good park, and it's cold there, or it's cool there, just above 60 degrees. So I knew people would be on it. So I kind of hope no pitch count comes and he gets to 15 or 20%.
I agree. I hope that ownership stays high and that no weird news comes out. Eric Wilson, are you guys not getting or responding to live chat? I don't really see anything that I should be responding to.
Yeah, just takes going on.
Yeah.
People talking to each other. What are we supposed to respond to?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, didn't Texas put up 12 or 13 last night? If you're looking for an answer to that, you should probably just go to MLB.com.
Yep.
Padres bats at all? I want to have them if Gonzalez is owned. I don't like them. It's a terrible spot. 3.4 run implied total. No part of this looks good, but if Marco Gonzalez is 53% owned, I would like to have some Padres stacks.
I like Will Myers a lot. Dual position eligibility for 4K, but that's about it. That park's not one I want to mess with. And I like Marco for however long he's going to go, but then they're going to get the bullpen, and I know that's a respectable pen.
Yeah, look, I won't want a lot. That is strictly just I would like to have a couple of these in case 50% of the lineups get lit on fire, you know?
Sure.
Just in what did Marco in the last time that he hit the field, 3 innings, 11 hits, 8 earned. If he's not right and that happens again, I would like to have some of the Padres just in case.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Like, I'm not saying they're going to be my number 2 priority, but like I'd like to have 4 or 5 lines of that.
Yeah, right up there with the Red Sox.
Now I assume I'm being trolled with that question.
Let's see.
Drew N, I don't know. How did we get so far apart? I don't really know what you're talking about. So, did you move?
Didn't he come in and troll a bunch earlier in the season?
I don't know. I can't keep track of it
Chris
anymore.
Probably banned him or something.
Well, yeah, but that's Chris. Chris is quick on the trigger. Okay, Eric, just checking. Braves, final game, 4.0 run implied total. Giants, 3.4. 56% chance to win for the Braves. Mike Fultonevich going for Atlanta. Andrew Suarez going for San Francisco. 8% expected ownership for Fulte at 11-2. I think he's a guy that we would probably want to do a deep dive on. I'm not getting much DeGrom, so Fulte would be a natural place to try to go way above the field. He's pitching in arguably the best spot that he can be in. Is Fulte a guy that you want to load up on now after walking through all of this?
Yeah. I think I will have probably close to the same amount of DeGrom and Fulte. So just saying that, I mean, I'm going to have a higher ownership edge on Fulte. I don't know why people wouldn't want to go to him here. I mean, I get that he's 11-2, and you're not used to seeing that price tag. You're used to seeing the 9K, 10K price tag on him. But this park is so good. I think he's really safe. And the Giants are striking out over 24% of the time on the season against righties. They're just not a good team at all. And I mean, Crawford and Shaw, Belt's the only really respectable lefty in there, in my opinion. And Fulte can strike out righties or lefties, so it doesn't really matter. Just think super safe and a nice discount on DeGrom. Definitely some upside here too. It's not like he's, capped at 22 points or something.
Yeah, now that I see the 11-2 price tag and what he's done in his recent performance, I have a hard time feeling like he kills me unless he has one of those really weird, like complete game 11 strikeout starts. I'm not loving the idea of paying up for him. Drew N, just so you know, you have been replaced by Sean V in terms of guys with short names and one initial. So you got to get to the back of the line now. Kango Joe 1. Osmo had a good night on DK. Can we get those lineup crunches? You can go look at every single one of those lineups if you want to dig through some other tools. It's DraftKings. That information is out there. You can look at every single thing he played. Maybe that's something you should do.
Or you can just go on Fantasy Country Rewind and, you've got all the contests right there. Just click on DraftKings contest data.
There is also another site that I won't name that you can dig into all of the DraftKings contest data and take a close look at every single piece of ownership.
That is true. I don't know what site you're talking about, but I've heard about it.
Yeah. It may be something that I do regularly to see how all of the top players are playing. It may be one of the things that everyone should be doing in order to understand the sport better. I'm not going to get to Fulte now. That 11-2 price tag doesn't seem worth it to me. I think I'm much more likely to die at 11-2 than I am to succeed.
Okay. I mean, that's fine, but where are you going to go? Like, there's just no upside at pitching today, it seems like.
I'm going to hope that Glass now hits. I don't know. I don't like the pitching slate here.
No, I don't. I'm going to let Fantasy Cruncher fill in the pitchers for the most part.
I greatly prefer Fulte on FanDuel. 7% expected ownership. He's 10-2. That's a much different site where it's just a different structure altogether. So I have no issue with Fulte on FanDuel.
Okay.
Bats in this game. As I mentioned before, the Giants are incredibly cheap. I don't have the same sort of wild exposure that I had previously, mostly because I don't have a ton of DeGrom any longer. But when you have like Joe Panic hitting leadoff at 2,800, no matter what you think of Joe Panic, he's just too cheap for a leadoff hitter. If the Giants are playing well, he could bat 7 times. And that's just like, sometimes you just can't beat that. Longoria 3,400, Belt 37, Austin Slater 32. This is just a top of the order where if things are coming together from a hits perspective, they can get a ton of plate appearances at a cheap price. But I don't want to have much of this game from an offense perspective at all.
I like the Braves a little bit, actually. Against Suarez, he's one that I think gets really lucky just with hard contact against righties especially. So I like Acuna, and I love Tyler Flowers here for 3,400. He just demolishes lefties, like in terms of hard contact and stuff like that. 221 WRC plus against lefties this year for Flowers. That's one of the highest in all of the MLB, right up there with a guy named Suarez from the Reds. So it's just a really good spot for him, and I don't think a lot of people will go there because of the park.
What do you think of Suarez?
I think he's the GOAT.
2 most recent starts at home, 26 and 28 fantasy points.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Eugenio.
No, Andrew.
Oh, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's the GOAT. I mean, I think he is viable here, just because it's such a good park. You know, I don't think he's got 20+ point upside here. There's just no strikeouts in this Braves lineup, really.
6,900 is a tough sell.
Yeah.
He's 5,900. That's a very different Andrew Suarez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mostly staying away from this game.
I just don't really like him.
Gas. Yeah. I'm going to look at some crunches. Maybe not the crunches of Alex Osimo Baker, but the crunches of Josh doesn't have a nickname, Engelman. Chubster, sure. I guess.
The Chubster.
Yeah, I'm really happy that happened. Give me a team that you'd like to take a look at. How about Oakland? I'm beating you to it, but I know you like them, and I know I don't have much of them.
Let's do Oakland. You share your screen.
I was just about to do that. That's not true. I wasn't. I forgot.
Sorry.
So, Oakland, top 4 lines: Michaelis Gonzalez, Bieber Gonzalez, Suarez Gonzalez. These are probably going to look a little bit different because there's going to be a lot less Gonzalez and a lot less Bieber. But Mookie, JD, Eduardo Escobar, and Coors, that's decent filler for a 5-man A stack. Or Mookie, Eduardo Nunez, Stanton, Turner, Harper, Jay up.
Pretty good.
Easy to get to filler, that's for sure.
Too bad no Harper, Turner. Can't use them. That would have been a really fun spot for both Pivetta and the Nats bats.
I recrunched. That game was still in there for some strange reason, and then my Bieber stuff changed. So let's let that rip again. See what pops up now. I really, really, really don't like this pitching slate. Like, who are your 3 favorite pitchers? Just ignoring salary, like what are your best combinations of points and value, whatever.
Folty, Michaelis, maybe Keller. I don't know. I mean, DeGrom,
I don't think there's a single person I have confidence in.
DeGrom, I think he's a pretty safe bet for 25.
Yeah, but like, what does that really get you?
I know.
I mean, today's the day where, like, if ownership is spread out at all, then if DeGrom doesn't go off, the winning combination of pitchers is going to be like Alex Cobb and Eovaldi in a relief spot or something stupid.
I just think it's very likely that one of the top few stacks that's expensive goes nuclear. Yeah. And whether it's the Yankees, Red Sox, or Athletics, or Coors, I mean, not even including them, that you're going to need the big bats here, the expensive bats.
I hope that's the case. All right, I've got more stacks now that we could take a peek at. Oakland in particular. Still have quite a bit of Marco, but trying to find a stack that you would like actually be okay with. Would you do Michaelis and Antonio Senzatella? You get Cole Calhoun, Mike Trout, and Trevor Story.
Wait, where is it? Michaelis.
I don't know, I'm just trying to find a line where you'll like both pitchers. I can't do that. Every one of them is just at least one guy that you're not on.
I see Quintana, Keller, so I would just switch Michaelis there. And then I really like that.
Okay. Segura, Cruz, and Trout.
Yeah, you could even go like Anderson Simmons or whatever. Make that a different 5-2-1.
Yeah, I think that works pretty well.
Yeah. Ooh, that one next to it. Wait. So there's
Michaelis Suarez?
No, the Michaelis Gonzalez with the Red Sox. Where'd it go? It was like Red Sox and A's. Oh, right here.
The one I'm on right now?
I think the one right above it, the one you were just on. Yeah, it was.
Oh, the Betts Pierce Stanton one with Michaelis and Suarez?
Yeah, I would go like Keller, and then
you have $1,200 to play with here now.
Yeah, so I would probably take Pinder out and go Kinsler or something like that, and just go 4-3-1. Yeah, that's
nice.
It's pretty good.
I would probably Laureano at 4,300. That's a lot.
Oh, he's good. He crushes.
Yeah, it's still a lot.
True.
Anybody else we want to take a look at?
They want you to do FanDuel.
Yeah, I bet they do. It's just so unappealing.
I'm with you.
You just play good pitchers, and then everything else is just sort of whatever you want it to be.
Play good pitchers, play good hitters.
If I get here's DeGrom. This is why we don't know. This is just another trip down why we don't do this. God, did this really happen again?
No stacks.
It's got to be a bug, right?
Probably.
Like I had this conversation and I still didn't get the stacks. It's just blank again. So we can't even look at these crunches because they're not valid. Why are you guys off Urena with the lack of options in his recent performance? I'm willing to at least take a look at it before we get out of here. 4.8 run implied total for the Mets is pretty high. So I would start there. Do you normally like Urena by any chance?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Let me hop over it. I want to see what his DK performance
he's like
has been.
6,200 and at home. Then yeah, I play him, but it's not because I think he's anything special.
This is the most expensive price point he's had all season, 7,100, and he is expected to give up the expected total for the Mets 4.8. He's had 3 starts that would be like slate breaker type stuff, but not maybe at 7,100. Put up 24 at 4,900, 30 at 6,000, 29 at 64. The other starts sandwiched in there, 4, and -1. So, yeah, I don't see the need to pay Jose Urena's most expensive price of the season in a spot where the Marlins are expected to lose by 1.6 runs. That would be my thought process.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would much rather have Andrew Suarez in San Francisco. If I had to pick just between the two of them.
I'd probably go Urena there just because I think Suarez gets some steam tonight, but it doesn't really matter to me.
And I would much rather, I'd rather pay $400 more and go to Chacin, honestly.
Oh, God.
Or $500 more to go to Michaelis.
Michaelis for sure. I would go to him.
Yeah, there's no reason to pay Urena's highest freight of the season today. Alrighty, that is it, everybody. I will be back at 11 a.m., 27 minutes from now. Myself, Laffy, process show. We're going to take a look at some NFL stuff. I haven't talked to Laffy in a show in a while, so we'll dig in quite a bit. It's been a lot of Adam. We'll have from A to B at 2:30, deeper dive, probably in the 4:45 to 5 o'clock range. Adam and Laffy breaking down the slate, similar to Jake and I, going through game by game with all of the lineup changes. And then live stream tonight, Chris and TBD, potentially Jake, potentially me, depending on sort of my hurricane outlook. So we'll see that. Check out Spotlight Hitters, Pitchers, and Stacks. Check out the deep dive article from Adam today. Just tons of information. Yeah. That's all we got. Tons of it. Anything else, Jake?
I think you covered it. Yeah, it should be another day filled with MLB content. I think some of our NFL content comes out later today. Don't quote me on that, but
I will quote you.
Okay. Well,
Jake said it. I'm going to put that in the Slack right now. Jake said NFL content today. Take it up with him afterwards.
As long as the NFL content's not expected to come from me,
it's true.
Then I'm good.
Alrighty. Best of luck, everybody. We will see you throughout the day. Let's make some money. Good luck.